Hello, this is Paloma. I come back with the story the sky is telling for the next few days, beautiful family. Thank you for joining me. I was thinking I truly appreciate the videos on Sundays. I usually do them because it's like a point in time that helps me like organize my feelings and emotions and becoming aware, where I'm coming from, where I am, who I am, and how the story is expressing through my story, and where is the invitation of the pulse of the universe. So astrology, I think it's a beauty when we use it as a creative tool as well. So we're in the midst of this great illumination of the full moon in Gemini, bringing clarity, even if clarity means that we have questions or that we don't know, because it is also arriving to a truth. This is beyond fantasy, beyond illusion, beyond the veils. This is a full moon in a square with Neptune. So today I held a word circle with my membership. As expected, I guess, with this moon, there was a diversity of subjects and experiences and a multicolor experience. Jupiter is there also, no, in Gemini. A lot of narratives, I would say. And yet, within this beautiful diversity, in common, our being humans, brothers and sisters, feeling with stories that we are trying to resignify, with whatever challenges and harvests we can grab and claim for ourselves, and filling our hearts with hope, keeping the light in the inner altar lit, and also calling in the vision so we can own our own stories with all their colors, and aware that we can tell ourselves a new story should we choose to. And I think that's the energy right now. As I said before, it's about choosing. I think I said this last week. Even when we don't choose, we do choose. This does not mean that we lose our right to change our minds or our opinions. I think maybe that's exactly what's going to happen this week, because we have Mercury stationing to go in his direct motion. But we are maturing, no? We are retrieving this authority inside and remembering that we are responsible because we are creators. Wait, this is for the membership. And yeah. I just wanted to say that there was a phrase today in the circle. Someone, I think they said a wild rose, but it sounded to me like a wild route or path. And I think that's how I want to share 2025 energy. Calling in the wild, the original, the origin energy. I feel like it's very raw, creative energy next year, that it's not conditioned, so it can allow us to actually create. I definitely think we are going into a cycle of recreation and regeneration. So where we are at, aside from this full moon, the illumination in the school of mind and communication, we have, as I said, Mercury stationing direct on the 15th of December. Let's give him a couple days so he can actually restore his regular movement. But that's it. This week we have all this light, and Mercury like that, to me, speaks of clarity, of looking into the truth, of becoming aware, and having gone through this process of retrieving our energy, maybe we find ourselves with a different gaze this week, like with a fresh perspective, an updated perception that allows us to decide and to align ourselves with this, what's the word? With the energy of the archer, no? Maybe the clarity is an invitation to actually be honest, and perhaps we are questioning what the purpose or the sense that we were walking our life with, if that's still something that resonates with us. No, it is a full moon in Gemini, with Mercury stationing direct in Sagittarius energy. So it's both the master, the teacher, and the apprentice, and we are both, and we are asking and we are answering, because Saturn is maturing precisely that, the voice of our intuition, our own wisdom. I always end up pretty moved from these circles, from the beauty of the sharing. I truly hope that this, which is an ancestral practice, can cross over into the future, and we keep joining and sitting in circle to share our words and our humanity. Okay, speaking of circles and turns of the wheel, Aside from Mercury and perhaps in our daily life having a little more momentum during this week, and like having the sensation of some pieces falling into place, we have the solstice. The sun will enter Capricorn on the 21st of December. There's some alignments astrologically the days before, but I actually see them as part of the chart of this door of the year. So I'm gonna speak to it as that. No, I do want to insist. There's a lot to be thankful for and to celebrate in these days, and there's still this energy that sort of scatters the energy. It's a bit like it's a distraction, and I still hear this invitation in the sky, even with the solstice, to still ourselves. You know, solstice, sol, quieto, it means the stillness of the soul, actually, for 3 days. Traditionally, we would celebrate and thank the light. If we are going into the darker stage of the year or the one with the most light, we thank these cycles, the spirality of time that holds us and allows a renewal of life. So the chart of the solstice is very interesting because its frequency will expand for the next 3 months. It's like the tonality in which we're going to sing our songs for the next 3 months precisely, no? So there is the sun entering Capricorn, still touched, I would say, by the energy of Neptune, and he enters Capricorn, the school of structures, these structures that have been demolished by Pluto, and now we have the first Capricorn season without Pluto. So to me it has a taste of rebuilding, of like giving new foundations to the dream and the story that our heart is beating with, that our truth is beating with. It's like really getting in touch with the longing, the deep longing of our hearts. The sun in this map is creating a T-square with the nodes of fate, with the nodes of karma or the moon nodes. They are at the end of their movement through Libra and Aries. So this to me again suggests a choice point, a moment for making decisions. It's like for the next few months we are going to be making some pretty big decisions, and there is this very like forte calling of our destiny. This is happening in an axis that speaks to relationships. We are ending this process where we did work a lot in our relationships through the eclipses, where perhaps we were shown the lack of equilibrium or balance. So we could restore. We could choose to share, to collaborate, to create interdependence, to dilute hierarchies, and to question through Aries, questioning all of us, no? Like asking us directly, who are you? Who are you? Asking us to have like a healthy differentiation from all our relationships, beliefs, communities, because perhaps we had given up, or maybe we were just too merged in terms of our identity, so we could come back into ourselves and to create an experience of true independence, sovereignty, and our own path, our unique path, and what walking in that or discovering that path implies. So I think this stays there for the next few months, which is who are you, which is the path you are choosing, and who do you want to walk this path with. If I look for the ruler of Capricorn, I'm going to end up in Saturn in Pisces, which I think is a very fruitful energy, because he's the lord of consolidation, like giving his wisdom to the school of the dream world, which is Pisces. And for me, at the same time, we are in this culmination of a chapter of the human soul. With this energy, we are starting to shape the new at the same time, the new chapter, and this requires commitment. Saturn, it's like being very diligent spiritually, and it's very potent that day on the 21st, exactly as the sun enters Capricorn. We're going to see the moon in Virgo in an opposition to Saturn. This to me, it's also a strong calling us into grounding in the earth this dream with devotion, which to me means with discipline, with love, committing our energy, and also discerning. It's about discernment with that our wisdom into how we are going to administrate our energy, our time, our attention. because this becomes a mutable T-square because it implies Jupiter in Gemini there. And he's in his retrograde. So I think it's this questioning of the story, as I said, like what story are you telling yourself? Or perhaps are you living in the story that someone else wrote for you? And the good thing that I find in the mutable squares and energy is that it allows a lot of adaptability, flexibility. It's like it gives a possibility to shape reality. This requires, of course, a lot of awareness and responsibility because there is that potential there. I think when Jupiter stations direct in February, this story that we are choosing will get amplified in its beauty, in its structure, or in its chaos. So I think it's about ordering ourselves through the moon in Virgo so we can make of this beautiful creative party a beautiful work of art, actually. And if we stay there with Jupiter, we're gonna go into the pearl of this chart, which is exquisite. And there is a trine between Jupiter and Venus. Jupiter in Gemini, Venus in Aquarius. Actually, she's right next to Chariclo. She's the wife of Chiron in myth. So for me, she's a healer of healers. And if we see this looking ahead into these 3 months, to me, it speaks of healing energy, of love, of expansion, of freedom, of authenticity, of creativity, from a very blessed, sort of lucky place and alignments. And Aquarian energy, of course. So this is about being visionaries, of innovation, of maybe even a very experimental energy, and perhaps a new love story for humanity, There's also, we can start seeing this sextile between Venus and Chiron. And Chiron is about to station direct as well at the end of this month, in that precise point where we had the total solar eclipse in Aries. So there is this process of healing, of integration, I believe, like transcending the pain so we can flourish or bloom into the medicine of what we have gone through. This energy is also just about joy. Venus and Jupiter, about healthy detachment that allows another perspective, a lighter one. It's the energy of air, and it's an invitation to bring play into our lives and to share. It's very social. So it's beautiful that's there for the next few months. And speaking of Aquarian energy, it's also very powerful to see Pluto there in the 0 degree of Aquarius. He won't go back there anymore. Next year when he moves back, he's gonna go back until the 1st degree of Aquarius. So this is the last time this is stimulated by him. And it is hard not to think about 2020 and the solstice, precisely the solstice of 2020. We had this stimulation of the 0 degree of Aquarius because we had that conjunction, the great mutation or the great conjunction, which was the union of Saturn and Jupiter in the 0 degree of Aquarius. So right now they're in a square, right? There is this very strong checkpoint for the collective about what are we doing, what are we creating, because there was a seed moment that spoke to us of being truly responsible, of becoming the ancestors of this new era. So are we the bridge that creates re-evolution, or are we trapped in a loop of some sorts, no? And to me, this brings us again into the choosing, the decisions, elections, no, and answering for who we are and for who we want to become. Okay, Pluto is holding the opposition to Mars, so that's there. We know it's there. We know it's kind of it's what would be a good adjective in English? Like, it just feels like it burns a little, no? Or maybe not so little. But it also brings clarity, you see, because it's showing us our fears, our insecurities, so we can love ourselves harder and more beautifully. And Mars there, retrograde, it's a process that we know will last until February. So certainly we are not operating at our 100% in terms of our bodies and our impulse of action, because we are purifying our motivation, the causes that light with passion our hearts and our lives and our doing. Noticing perhaps one of the layers that I've seen is like the subtle violence and abuse towards ourselves, and how this becomes the world, no? So in Leo, we learn self-love, the nobility of the warrior, honor, and the beauty of our own radiance. right? So I think we can start there, offering ourselves a compassionate and loving witnessing of who we are now. So the solstice to me brings us back into synchronicity and alignment with the natural time. And through ritual, we can give order to the non-visible into the visible realm and reconnect with the sacredness of all. When we become still, enter the stillness, we allow the clarity that we are longing for to actually show up. And when we listen to the wisdom and the intelligence of our hearts, we can renew the altars of hope. And if we feel, if we embody, if we honor our bodies, we can become present. And it is in presence that we can actually create. So someone was asking today in the class about purpose. What is my purpose, And I think many of us, perhaps we're pondering about new ways of offering our work or service and noticing a new way in which we are ordering our priorities, perhaps. There's a lot to unpack and to sort of like find the right place for about all that we have been through in 2024. It's been a lot, no? So, but we are here, alive, taking roots in the sky, taking roots in the earth, connected with so much to be thankful, to be grateful for. And if the only purpose you align yourself with right now is to truly be who you are from the most beautiful and honest humanity, I think that's more than enough, because whatever there is a frequency of truth. And that's the biggest gift we can give to the world right now. That is a higher purpose. So that's what I have. Thank you for listening, for joining. I wish you a solstice of peace, of trust, of gratitude and celebration. We are alive, aren't we? Blessings.